Okay, it's 3:33 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time now. Pulled up another couple shots on allskycam.com website. Here's Cal Poly, California, obviously. Here we got the winged object, projected image, or whatever you want to call it, lens flare, which didn't show up for you yesterday in the United States. For all you trolls out there, here it is here, the winged image. Appears to be rising on this one. That's kind of neat. But you can see it's not the sun. And here we're catching like a little bit of a orange ball here, whereas normally, like I was pointing out in an earlier vid right before this one, that we normally caught the orange ball reflection or projection, sun going down or sun coming up on the immediate outside rim of the fishtail lens. Now, for some reason, like I said, it's a fluid and dynamic situation. Everything's moving. We're moving relative to it. It's moving relative to us. And the sun's moving relative to it, everything. So we're going to catch different shots, different days, different times. But these have been consistent so far since August 20th anyway. I caught some good ones this morning over there in Tierra del Sol. So this is 125%. Maybe I'll blow it up to 150. That'll look pretty good in that. No, that's 150. Yeah, okay, we got it at the 150 still. So we're actually catching some of these orange ball images now, which I contend you can't tell here. That's a projected image of the Nibiru sun somehow bouncing off of the sun or whatever, flaring onto the lens. But there you have that. Clearly that's not an image of the sun. There's your classic V-shaped Nibiru winged planet that the ancient Sumerians depicted, and I'm sure you guys have seen everywhere on YouTube here and there. Having trouble finding a lot of wing shots on these sky cams today. A lot of clouds on most of them, but here we got Colebrook, Connecticut. No wing shot. But here's a good shot of 24-hour single column image throughout 24 hours, time lapse. So apparently they take a slice of photo every minute maybe, and then they piece them all together. Here it is here, the Nibiru sun. Maybe you'll catch a couple of its orbitals there too. So if you go back and look at my stuff, I've always consistently caught 3 images together, sort of in a V formation. And that would correspond to the wing shape too coming in that the Sumerians recorded. But anyway, here's the sun and here's the Nibiru thing. Now if you watched some of my vids this morning on, for instance, or if you watched any of my vids, the San Diego astronomy site, Tierra del Sol, catching some great images, and we got a good one there in the morning of the false sunrise. So if you extrapolate, think back to that last picture I just showed you in Colebrook, Connecticut with the time lapse. Let's see if we have it here. Not really, but remember the sun was here, and then here was the Nibiru system. Look, it looks pretty well spread. I was thinking this morning that we got the sun coming up in the east, and we got the false sunrise, which happens at least an hour before. We've been catching every morning out here, getting some the sky seriously lighting up. If you watched any of those vids, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, then we got this object down here to the south-southeast, which looks like another sun that's a little bit further above the horizon than our sun is, and that's what I'm contending causing the false dawns, because when the sun comes up, it reflects off the Nibiru sun, because keep in mind the Nibiru sun's a brown dwarf, so it doesn't illuminate anything. It's too dull. It doesn't give out visible light. You can only see it in the infrared spectrum. That's why when they first discovered Planet X with the infrared telescope, space telescope, back in the early 80s, it wasn't too much longer that they shut the thing down. Well, actually, I think they shut it down near the when Ellen and big comet Ellen and PSYOP was going on, if I remember correctly. But I could be wrong. But you could access it and get live feeds like you can a lot of the other space telescopes. But once this Nibiru thing got close, they didn't want you looking anymore. And you had all the Google sky maps with the blanked out square and so forth. But anyway, what I'm trying to get to here is that could reflect the distance from here, the second sun in the morning showing up, and the real sun. That distance here could be the very same distance that shows up in these time-lapse columns, where the sun's here and the Nibiru thing's up here. It looks like it's getting spread a little bit more than it has been since August 20th, when I first started doing these SkyCam observations. And what I was thinking this morning was that very well could reflect how far away this thing is from the sun. And if you extrapolate it further, Earth could be like, say, out here in this position. Because like I mentioned, if you look at my videos, this thing's pretty much between the Earth and the sun. And it's staying there because the Earth's, okay, here's the sun. The Earth's coming around normal fashion, prograde orbit. This thing came up around the sun and it's coming back around through the inner solar system, and it's pretty much following the Earth, or the Earth's following it, or vice versa. In other words, it's coming around the sun in the same fashion that the Earth is, and of course at some point we're going to probably diverge. The trajectory is going to be different, but right now, and we have been for the past several months, seem to be like right in the headlights of this Nibiru sun incoming. With because when I shoot it from my cell phone with the twin floppy disk taped over, I don't know why you guys don't try it. You can just go out and tape the floppy disks over your cell phone, a couple of layers, hit the camera, select the camera image, and point it at the sun. You'll see what I'm talking about. You have to tilt the camera back and forth to the cell phone to catch it real good. But if you go look back at my 722 or 711 vids, you'll see what I'm talking about. Or any of my other of the 106 uploads I've had since November 17th, 2014, when this thing came up north of the ecliptic, or up even with the ecliptic plane. Because remember, if anybody knows anything about it, it supposedly came up from the south, and all the evidence suggests that's true. There was a good vid about all the orbits being pulled south of all the planets in the solar system orbits got pulled southward. And that one's in my favorite list, in my videos that I favored over the course of these last 4 years during my investigations. So anyway, enough rambling. Hope I made that clear. So here we got it, Tierra del Sol. Let's see if we can find it anywhere else. Okay, we're catching sort of a ghost image here at Windy Point, East Texas. Here it is coming down. So like I was saying, if that's the inclination of spread between the two objects, then we're going to see it start to lengthen. So we can test that hypothesis, as well as by looking at the 24-hour time-lapse shots. Okay, here's Pine Mountain. That's in California, a little bit northeast of LA. You can see it coming flashing through here. Down here, you can see it looks more of like a wing depiction. Seeing a lot of lines here, like magnetic field lines. I don't know if you're picking them up. See them coming through here? Let me blow this up. You can see them down here. That should not be, folks. But as this thing gets closer, it has a strong, strong magnetic influence. There's 300%. You can see the object. Can't see it there because I got it blown up too much. There it is there in a reprojected view. Here's the magnetic lines I'm talking about. See that? So the Earth has a magnetic field around it, and the magnetic lines go this and that. They're usually looped. And I might have it blown up too big. We'll go back to 200%. See what I'm talking about here? Magnetic field lines. You don't see them in the southern shots so much, but if you look at some of the northern shots in Alaska, or now here in California even, we're catching some magnetic field lines. So that, to me, tells me that that's the Earth reacting to the incoming dwarf star's huge magnetic influence, and we're trying to repel it. Our planet's trying to repel it. Right now we're holding it. It's not killing us yet, but there'll be some point where this thing's magnetic influence is going to be too great for the Earth to handle. And that's when the pole shift's going to happen. Things are heating up. Did you see that? Did you see that thing where a guy took his dogs, him and his wife took his dogs to a hot spring that they normally go to in Idaho, and the dogs were loose and running, and the dogs jumped in the hot spring first and were basically boiled to death, and the dude like freaked out and jumped in to try to get him, and he almost got burned to death, scalded by the hot water. So I mean, the Earth's heating up. This brown dwarf comes in, huge electromagnetic influence. It heats up all the magma in the Earth. That's why the volcanoes are going off at a record number right now. Seismic activity is huge. Pull this up. There's earthquake 3D. This is a current shot. There's 1 day. I'll slow it down. Maybe make it a little bigger. Okay. So there we go. There's a 5.7 just popped off down there. But I was noticing there's a huge, real deep one here. If we could stop that, put it on kilometers. 593 kilometers. That was just like 2 days ago. That should not be. The Earth's mantle is basically not completely solid at that depth. We shouldn't be getting earthquakes that deep, but we are. That's because this thing's disrupting our planet so much. Now this is the $20 version, but you can download it for free at Earthquake 3D to get a free download. I'm not sure if they got the kilometer feature on that one or not, but I know they got the magnitude, and you get the full 7 days, and you get this arrow there takes the magnitude rings in or out, and then you can set it to what every 1 minute. The thing will refresh, and an earthquake will pop if there's anything detected on the USGS feed. But go to Dutch Cinch's channel. He makes some good vids on earthquakes. He got a good one on there today about the dogs and the man being almost burned to death in the hot spring over there in Idaho, near Challis, Idaho. So I guess we'll leave it on Pine Mountain. I got about 30 seconds left. Probably be the last vid I make today. I don't want to kill you guys with too many videos. But there we got it. The Nibiru sun ghosting through the frames. Maybe I'll flip back up to good old El Tierra, or La Tierra, Tierra del Sol rather. El Tierra, I'm thinking of El Hierro. There it is there. So we'll keep monitoring it. I'll check you in the morning.